Mm-hmm. Gotta make sure it's all good before we get started because this is really something, man. Oh man. Um, Gotta make sure everything's okay here. Let me see. Did I do anything with the? Give me a second here. There we go. Let's see. Did I? Nah, even spitballing it, I guess. All right, making sure this is good. Doing the usual things. Let me Wow. Okay. Interesting. Let me go here. Then here. Okay. Take that. Go here. Go here. There we go. Let me wrap this up. Jeez, man, all these little. Uh-huh. There we go. Let's finish this off before we get started because we gotta talk about this, man. All right. All right. I think we should be good. Yeah, I'm good. Come on. You can hear me. It's all good. We ain't gotta waste time. We ain't gotta do none of that nonsense. We all good. All right? We good. We ain't gotta do none of that, man. All right? Just making sure we all good. And we are good. We are good. There we go. Hopefully we good. I'm gonna put this down. Ah, man. Don't worry, guys. We are just getting started here. Doing a few things here before we ultimately get started. But man, I don't know where to start with this, guys. I don't know where to start. Okay, you're look at this. All right, you are here. There we go. Get yourself back to where you need to be. What the heck is this? Oh boy. I sorry as I get myself ready here. We always got to actually let me do this. Yeah, let's do it like this. Oh my god, what? I'm about to just let you rock. I'm about to really just let you rock. Give me this. Oh, no, you don't. Oh, I knew you were going to do that. Please don't do that. There we go. And we'll put you here because you're gonna have two of these number ones. Why not? All right. 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 I think I can start to get started here a little bit. Oh man, wait. Oh, okay, hold on. I gotta pull up a few of this, bro. Gotta completely forgot. We gotta pull up a bunch of this other stuff. Let me move this. There you go. There you go. Let me do this. No! I think we're gonna be reading. I need two things up here that I can see before we can get started. Because I need this here for this. Oh God, why is it every time you take me here? And why is it always this one? Come on, man. Do better. Do better. Where are we? Right here with that fat L. Okay. That's crazy. Let me see here. All right. Okay, okay, okay. I think I also have more of this. I think I have a bunch of other stuff here with me as well. So we are going to get started. We are going to get started here real soon as we get ready for the week 3 therapy session. Okay, I think you have you here. And then I should have more. Yes, I do. Yes. Okay. 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 I think we are about as good as we can be in terms of getting started here. And then we will just go from there. So, wait. Oh, snap. I forgot this. Hold on. Let me check this last thing out. So, we're getting ready to get started soon, guys. Give me a minute here. I need to check to make sure I have this here. What's going on, guys? Give me a second here. I gotta get this one last thing. I know I have it saved here. Once I find it, we're good to go. All right, all right, all right. I know I have it somewhere here. This has to be somewhere. This is important because this is stats that I need to pull up here. All right. Oh, wait, no. I think this may be it. All right, let me see. Oh no. Oh, yep. Got it. We are good. We are good. So, yep. Oh, this is crucial. Oh, this is crucial. Okay. So, guys, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, what is up? What is good? What's going on, everybody? Hope you guys are enjoying your day. Listen, guys, I'm concerned. I am concerned. I want to take this time here to express to you that I am really concerned. Today really concerned me, guys. This has nothing to do with football. This really concerned me. Kind of surprised me, rattled me a little bit. I wasn't expecting to see this today, and it really surprised me. You know, I was in shock, and I just kept checking over and over. You know, minutes are going by, hours are going by, and I just keep on checking, and I didn't see anything, and I was lost for words. Guys, I can't believe this happened. Today is September 23rd, 2025. This Today is an important day, you know? It's an important day, and I didn't see anything about it. And it kind of surprised me. It left me dumbfounded. I cannot believe on this important day, all I saw were crickets. I didn't just radio silence. I was truly shocked for words. You guys got to understand, this was tough. I can't believe it. I really can't believe it. Today is September 23rd. Let me tell you why I was so dumbfounded. Let me actually express to you what happened, man. Today is September 23rd. Today is really important. You know why today is really important? Because some of you guys may think it don't really matter. But today is a really important day to somebody. It's a really important day. And some of you guys may not understand what I'm talking about, but today's an important day. And I didn't hear anything about it. I couldn't believe it, guys. I really couldn't believe it. I truly couldn't believe it. On today, September 23rd, nothing. They I'm lost for words, guys. On this day of all days. I mean, in previous years, this day was important. In previous years, this day was recognized. But for some reason, today of all days, it wasn't recognized. It was recognized last year. There's been quite the amount of times September 23rd has been recognized. And yet, for some reason, it wasn't recognized today. And I went back and I kept checking and I kept checking and I kept checking. And I didn't understand. So I'm going to ask you guys, and maybe you can help me figure this out. So let me tell you, today, September 23rd, is an important day. Today is the day, a very special day for a very special person. So you know what? If they're not going to share it with you, I will be the first to tell you this. I want to give a huge happy birthday to our head coach, John Harbaugh. Happy birthday, John Harbaugh. Today is his birthday. And I was shocked that the Ravens, they didn't post anything about his birthday. Why is that? I mean, they posted about it last year. They've actually posted about it for quite some time. I mean, you could go back to their social media page. They posted about it last year. Pretty sure they posted about it the year before. They posted about it in 2022, 20. They had shirts about for his birthday last year. I mean, we saw these things. I was rattled. Why didn't they post about John's birthday today? Very strange, you know? I mean, what happened? I'm very confused as to why they didn't post that. You know, usually the media is on it. This is the head coach of your football team. You would think they would post a happy birthday post, but you could go to the Ravens social media page, nothing. Nothing about his birthday. Weird. We didn't even get any post about leading up to his birthday. Hey, his birthday's coming up. We didn't see nothing. It was very strange because you know what's funny? You know what's really funny? Last year, well, 2023, they posted about his birthday, giving him a huge happy birthday. Last year, they actually had shirts. Let me see if I can pull it up. For the 2020, Lamar was rocking a happy birthday shirt for John Harbaugh. Last year, they had shirts for John Harbaugh. They had shirts. They had shirts. I'm so surprised. They had shirts. Why didn't they post about it today? Is something wrong? Is anything wrong about today? I just find it interesting that they chose not to post about this. And it hurt me personally, you know. I mean, this is our head coach, right? I mean, obviously, us, the fans who want to celebrate John Harbaugh's birthday, we want to wish the man a happy birthday. I thought the social media page would have given us an opportunity. They would post it there, and every single fan would get to share their heartfelt happy birthday with them. I mean, obviously, if they would have posted that today, it would have been nothing but smiles and joy and heartfelt happy birthdays to our special head coach, John Harbaugh. Yet the media took that away from us. Our media page didn't give us the opportunity to wish our head coach a happy birthday in the best of ways. And that offends me. That really offended me today. I find it very interesting, you know? I did not need to build this up as much as I did. I did not need to build it up. All I know is last year on his birthday, they had t-shirts and everything. The team looked like they were on the same page and everybody was happy. This year, the man's birthday comes up, radio silence. I mean, absolute crickets. Absolute crickets. The media didn't post a damn thing, bro. No. You know for a fact that the Ravens social media page decided today was a perfect day for radio silence because they know for a fact after what they pulled yesterday and the amount of vitriol that is aimed towards this coaching staff, specifically Harbaugh, you know damn well if they would have posted that, the amount of hate, the amount of hate, the amount of anger, the amount of vitriol that would have been there. Oh my goodness. So I just find it interesting, you know. I'm surprised the social media page was scared to post this. I mean, you can't say they forgot about his birthday. They posted about it last year, and they posted about it the year before, and they posted about it the year before, and the year before, and the year before. Why did they post about it this year? What's so different about this year? I just find that very interesting. Very interesting that they chose not to post about his birthday. It's really funny. That's all I'm saying. I just find it really funny. Anyway, guys, I wanted to start off that. Oh my God. Yep. I wanted to start this off by speaking about that specific topic, specifically because I know that what we're about to discuss here is not going to be good at all. I just want to point this out. So you don't just forget the heartbeat of your franchise's B-Day. You're right. I'm so shocked. They really forgot about John Harbaugh's birthday. They really forgot about John Harbaugh's birthday. So we've had our fun. You know, last week one therapy session, well, we started this off by talking about anime and comics and movies and cartoons, just to be very lighthearted because we knew we were about to talk about some tough topics. This time around, I decided to do this here because, it involves our team, our head coach, and I found it really funny that there was not a single post about John Harbaugh's birthday. So I find it funny. Anyway, guys, let's get into this. We're going to be here for a while, so let's strap in. Let's get started. So, the Baltimore Ravens at home on Monday Night Football took on the Detroit Lions and got absolutely smacked. This right here is just so bad, bro. Oh my goodness, dude. This team got smoked. They gave up 17 points in the fourth quarter and lost this game again. But yeah, Ravens got smacked 38-30. The final score doesn't even begin to speak of how bad of a game this was for the Ravens. I mean, this was absolutely terrible. This was absolutely like terrible. This was such an embarrassment, you know. The stats don't tell you the full story about how bad this game was. So, let's actually start with some of the small things. Let's start with the small things. Let's start with the offense because I think that's where we can start because it's easier to start with and it's easier to cover because the defense is a lot. Offensively, here's essentially a play-by-play of the Ravens offense in this game. So in the first half, opening drive, they go 80 yards, score a touchdown. Second drive, 3-and-out, punt. Third drive, it's a turnover on downs. Oh, that's a bad look on them. Fourth turnover on downs because they got to the goal line and couldn't execute. And this is a thing that has been problematic for the Ravens for quite some time. For some reason, they don't seem to execute in the biggest moments. Oh, what's going on, Donovan? Appreciate you stopping by. Appreciate the $10 donation. Did you see Harbaugh's post-game presser? Every part of him I hate came to light. Deflections, coach speaks, condescension, word salad, and narcissism. He's a weasel, roach, parasite clown of a coach. I think you put up everything you could possibly put up. Oh my goodness. I don't have any problem with what you said, man. And I saw that presser. It fits exactly what John Harbaugh has been for quite some time. I don't think anybody's surprised. But yeah, it's what John Harbaugh's been. But yeah, offensively, and we turned over on downs at the goal line. Goal line offense for us has been terrible. We've actually been really poor in the red zone so far to start the season. That's not a good thing. Then we get a touchdown before halftime to tie it up at 14 apiece. Third quarter, we go score a touchdown to take the lead. We're up 21-14. At that point, we don't come back on the field till we're tied again because Ravens defense is terrible. It's a 21-21 game. We go 3-and-out. Then the Lions take the lead and they keep the lead because we get the ball again. We go down the field. We're not able to get anything going on third down, and we ultimately have to we ultimately have to kick a field goal, which Tyler Loop nearly missed that, but he got the field goal, making it 28-24. Then we get the ball back with it being a 4-point game with an opportunity to win the game, and on the very first play, Derrick Henry proceeds to fumble the ball. So 3 games, 3 fumbles for Derrick Henry. And once he fumbled the ball, that was essentially game. Well, on one hand it was, but at the same time you had an opportunity because you had one more chance to go and try to tie this game and you go 3-and-out. And you didn't have the guts to go for it on 4th down, knowing your defense can't stop anything. So that speaks about where this football team is right now. And then afterwards, you get a garbage time touchdown to make it 38-30. So this offense was absolute garbage. This offense was absolute garbage in the second half. In the first half, it wasn't that bad. In the second half, it was terrible. And I don't care about the fact that they put up 16 points in the second half because 7 of those points came from garbage time. The offense did not look great. There were drives where they looked very, very bad. They look very, very bad. They don't look to be in sync. They don't look to be on the same page. Todd Monken has to be called out for his play calling today. I hate to say this, and a few people have spoken on this, bro. Todd Monken's play calling yesterday felt very similar to Greg Roman's play calling. And that is crazy. It was just nothing but these deep, long developing routes. There was nothing underneath. We were talking about it during halftime here on the stream yesterday. Zay Flowers had no catches, no targets. I said they got to start running some wide receiver screens. Get the ball in his hands and let him go take off. We got to start running some more screens. We got to start taking what the defense gives us. Take the underneath and move the ball. We've got the capability. But instead of doing that, we're doing these long developing routes and it's not accomplishing anything and it's leading to failure. So Todd Monken yesterday had one of those moments where Todd Monken just did not call. He couldn't call a single good game to save his life yesterday. His play calling was so confusing. The fact that he tried to run a trick play, a toss to Henry, and Henry trying to toss it to Wallace for a touchdown. Why are we trying to get cute at the goal line? You have Lamar Jackson and Derrick Henry, and you can't figure out how to get in the end zone? What the hell were these play calls? These play calls were so damn confusing. I don't understand what these play calls were. It was garbage. The play calling was not good in this game. This was one of those moments where you chalk it up and say, Todd Monken did not bring his A game today. He was trying to get cute with the play calling. He didn't run anything underneath. There was no short passing game. What happened to those wide receiver screens? There was nothing there. What happened to the checkdowns that we needed? There was nothing there. These long developing routes, it was horrible. So the play calling was terrible. Number 2, the offensive line. Let me tell you this right now. First stat to bring up tonight. The Baltimore Ravens, and I'm pretty sure someone's already said in the chat, the Baltimore Ravens allowed 30 pressures on Lamar Jackson last night. 30 pressures. The Ravens offensive line allowed 30 pressures. Lamar Jackson had 27 pass attempts, and they allowed 30 pressures. Matter of fact, let me take a look at this real quick. Shout out to Jay with the $10 donation. It starts up front, O-line and D-line. Appreciate the donation, my brother. You are absolutely correct. We got beat in the trenches, and it ain't going to stop here. This is only the beginning. So I want to sit back and actually take a look at something here. Let me go to the stats here real quick because Lamar had 27 pass attempts, and the Ravens offensive line gave up 30 pressures. So let me see here. I'm gonna go through each one of these. Let me see if I can get the how many dropbacks did Lamar have yesterday? Not passing attempts. How many dropbacks? I wish I could find that. I'm gonna have to go play by play and count this myself. If anyone actually is able to find it, it'd be great. So let's see. Okay, that's 1. That's 2. That's 3. 4, 5. 6, 7, 8. 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38. I think Lamar had about 40. I think Lamar had about 40 dropbacks. Shout out to Donovan with the $2 donation. Coaching needs uprooting. Team needs soft rebuild. Absolutely. I would agree. So I think Lamar had about 40 dropbacks. Of course, he had 27 pass attempts, but he had 27 pass attempts. He got sacked 7 times, and there were a few times he took off. I think Lamar. Let me see. If I count all of these here, I think Lamar had about 40 dropbacks because any one of his quarterback scrambles you could potentially count there. So I think Lamar had nearly 40 because he had 7. Yeah, I think Lamar had about 40 dropbacks. I would love to see the actual total number of this. So Lamar had around 40 dropbacks. So you mean to tell me Lamar having nearly 40 dropbacks dealt with pressure on 30 of them? How do you give up 30 pressures on nearly 40 dropbacks? Excuse me. That means damn near every time he takes a snap, he's getting pressured. How do you give up that many pressures, bro? 30 pressures? 30 pressures. This is ridiculous. The Ravens offensive line gave up 30 freaking pressures. Are you serious? Are you for real right now? 30 pressures by the offensive line. There's no way this can be real. But it is. This is crazy. 30 pressures, guys. 30. Pressures. How in the hell do you give up 30 pressures? I don't understand how you give up 30 pressures, dude. If I'm correct, which I would have to go and once again check the numbers, that might be an NFL record. That might be an NFL record, bro. I don't know if I've ever seen a game where someone is, maybe it's been more, but I don't think I've ever seen a game where O-line is giving up 30 pressure. Nah, I don't think that's a record. But it's definitely high up there. I think it's definitely high up there. That dude got pressured on nearly every single one of his dropbacks. That is so terrible. That is so bad. That is so bad. That is awful. That is absolutely atrocious. It's hard to say much about the receivers because, I mean, when they were getting opportunities, they were doing their jobs. I don't think there was really any drops in this game. Zay Flowers didn't get a lot of attention, but when the ball came his way, he did his job. Bateman did his job. Andrews actually looked great. This was a Mark Andrews type of performance you want to see. Tez Walker made a great play and then headed to the bench because this team doesn't know how to utilize their talent or are trying to utilize all at once. They're not fully sure how to utilize everybody. Diop did what he needed to do. Like, I don't have there's nothing to say about the weapons. The Ravens' weapons showed up. They weren't the problem. It's one of the few things you can look at not tonight or yesterday and say, yeah, the receivers weren't an issue when they were getting the ball. The problem is they couldn't get open because we're running these long, deep routes. It felt like a Greg Roman offense out there at times. But in all honesty, the receivers, again, they weren't a problem yesterday. So I don't have anything to say about them. But that offensive line was terrible. They were bad. And I know everybody loves to pick on Daniel Falele, but dude, through 3 weeks, through 3 games, I don't see how we could just point to Falele because name me anybody on this offensive line that's played well through 3 games. Ronnie Stanley's been getting cooked on the left side. Roger Rosengarten has put up some really bad film out there. Voorhees has had some good moments, but he's also looked rough. Linderbaum has been poor at times too. So I know we like to just look at Falele and his poor play, but dog, this offensive line as a whole, they're not performing well. They're not. So we can't even look at one side and one individual on the offensive line. This whole O-line as a unit, they can't pass protect. They can't pass protect, and they can't handle pressure to save their lives. They're terrible. 30 pressures in that game. 30. Lamar Jackson got sacked 7 times last night. Now, again, we talked about this last night, and there was a conflict because of who Lamar Jackson is. But I have always been fair. I have always held everybody accountable. And I talk about how everybody's going to take a level of blame for how things go. And I don't shy away from that, even if you guys don't agree with what I'm going to say. But my job is to keep it real. And we had one of those conflicting moments last night when we talked about the 7 sacks. I sat back and said, the offensive line is playing terrible. They are a huge factor in the majority of those sacks. But at least 2, if not 3 of those sacks was strictly on Lamar Jackson because he was holding on to the ball for far too long. So Lamar does have to take a little accountability. He's not the reason they lost the game, obviously, but he does have to take a little accountability because he was holding on to the ball. He was holding on to the ball a bit too long. And it wasn't like it was on every single one. I'd say a majority of those sacks were straight up because the offensive line was garbage. But there was at least 2 of those sacks where Lamar was holding on to the ball too long because he's waiting for receivers to get open and nobody's getting open. And this is the thing. Lamar right now seems to be absolutely refusing to run the ball. He don't want to run. And I told y'all this years ago. When people kept calling Lamar Jackson running back, I kept trying to explain this to people. Lamar doesn't want to run. He doesn't like to run. He's even told you himself, I don't want to run. I want to throw touchdowns. He doesn't want to run at all. If he has to take off, he will. But there are moments where we will actively see Lamar flat out refuse to run. And he will hold on to the ball, trying to create a play no matter what. Last night was that moment. A majority of those sacks were on the offensive line, absolutely. But at least 2, if not 3 of those sacks happened because Lamar was holding on to the ball too long, waiting for someone to get open, and he flat out refused to take off. And my thing is, in that situation, Lamar, if nobody is open and you got a lane, you're free to take off. If you don't want to take off, Lamar, then you've got to throw the ball away. Because you know what your offensive line is. You know you don't have a lot of time. If you're not going to take off, you're going to have to throw the ball away. Because eating those sacks is going to push you further back. Live for the next down. At the end of the day, Lamar, you're not going to make every play. You're going to make a majority of the plays because you're Lamar Jackson. But you're not going to make every play. And sometimes in those situations when you're going to hold on to the ball too long, it works out, we make a great play. And other times, you'll end up taking a sack you shouldn't have taken. It comes with the territory when you have Lamar Jackson. It is what it is. But Lamar last night, man, you can tell. And this is the fun part as a fan when you notice these things. Lamar has no faith and confidence or belief in that offensive line. That was one of the few times Lamar had happy feet. He didn't feel comfortable once behind that offensive line. He didn't feel comfortable once. And the fact that he had happy feet all night tells me he doesn't trust this offensive line at all. If you had trust in this line, you would stand there in the pocket and deliver. Lamar had happy feet all night, which, given the fact that they gave up 30 pressures, it's valid for him to have that. But you can just tell, without him saying anything, he has no confidence or belief in that offensive line. And it showcased itself. Oh, it showcased itself. Woo! It showcased itself. He had absolute no belief in that offensive line. And the offensive line gave him no reason to have belief. That's bad. That's bad. But yeah, I will give a little bit of criticism to Lamar in regards to holding onto the ball and it resulting in about 2 sacks. I understand why he did, but there are times when Lamar is going to have to throw the ball away. And again, yeah, You have to call him out on it because again, Lamar actually has, I think he's like 0.7% of his passes have been throwaways. Like he has the lowest amount of throwaway passes because Lamar does not throw the ball away. And that's that's the beauty of Lamar Jackson because he can make those plays. But there's going to be times where you're not always going to be able to make those plays. And last night was one of those moments where you just weren't able to make those plays. So there are times where you got to look at Lamar and say, "Hey man, you got to throw it away. You do got to throw it away." I understand why, but you either got to make a decision to take off and just go, or if you're not going to, you got to throw it away. You can't afford to take a sack in that situation. You just can't. And with your offensive line not protecting you, you know you don't have a lot of time to just stand in that pocket. You got to get it out of your hands. So, yeah, Lamar gets a little criticism there, but let's be real. In terms of people to blame for last night's loss, Lamar is at the very bottom of that list. Let's go to the final thing we need to discuss here. Then I'm going to take a look at the comments, and then we'll go to the juggernaut here. Derrick Henry. I'm not exactly sure what to say right now, and I'm not sure how to feel. Now, this is a future Hall of Fame running back. He's going to be fine. I don't think this is going to be a problem long term. Shout out to Carter with the $5 donation. Eric the Discount Chaser needs to stop hunting coupons and start spending money on players that ensure that Lamar isn't put in a casket. Yeah, he really should invest in the O line. I agree with you on that one. Appreciate the donation, brother. But yeah, Derrick Henry. I don't think this is going to be a long term problem. I don't think this is going to be an issue that's going to continue. This is Derrick Henry. We know what he is capable of, and I believe he will definitely look to fix this. He will absolutely look to fix this. But this is a bad thing that we're seeing. Derrick Henry has fumbled the ball 3 times in 3 games. 2 of them were lost. One was recovered. It was actually recovered by Tylan Wallace. That was against the Cleveland Browns. But he's fumbled the ball in every single game. This is becoming a repetitive issue throughout 3 games, and he has to get it fixed. Now he's harder on himself than anyone else, so he knows he has to get it fixed. But yeah, he can't. He just can't. He can't fumble the ball in these situations. These are killers. The worst part is he's not fumbling. He's not fumbling in like early on moments. He's fumbling in key situations. You fumble against the Bills when they're trying to pull a comeback, and it contributes to them pulling a comeback. And then last night, we're down 4. This is supposed to be the drive where we could try to go down the field and tie the game, not tie the game, to go down the field and try to take the lead, and you fumbled the ball. I don't know what to tell you. You fumbled the ball. And that essentially put us in that position where we could have been cooked. So, yeah, I don't know what to tell you. I want to be more like harsh on Derrick Henry for this, but this is Derrick Henry. I expect this to get fixed. I expect this to get fixed. And I believe it will get fixed. But that is a problem, and we had to address it here. We also have to address another one, and Moggs, I have been seeing it. You have definitely brought it up, and it is something you, I, and everybody have been talking about. The Ravens. The Ravens, for some reason, John Harbaugh continues to do this. Why, oh, why, oh, why, oh, why does this man refuse to not play Keaton Mitchell? We talked about this last night. They're using Derrick Henry and only using Derrick Henry to run the ball. They are using Justice Hill and only using Justice Hill in the pass game. So he's there as an extra receiver and to pass block. But they are only using Derrick Henry in these situations. And with the way this offensive line is playing, teams are starting to catch up with how we are running the ball. Not to mention, Derrick Henry is being utilized throughout the entirety of the game, which isn't a bad thing. But there are some times where it would be useful to be able to relieve him. Not to mention, we're starting to get a little bit predictable with how we're using Derrick Henry. Teams have had a whole year of footage to watch this. A whole year of footage to watch this. And it wasn't difficult. People saw this last year too. When Derrick Henry's on the field, we run the ball 9 times out of 10. When he's not on the field, 9 times out of 10, we're passing the ball with Justice Hill. There's no confusion here. You know somebody who could add to this? Someone who could bring an element of confusion? Keaton Mitchell. You know somebody who could bring a different type of running, a different level of creative running that could potentially put the defense in trouble? It could confuse opposing defenses? Keaton Mitchell. I thought Keaton Mitchell was going to be the lightning to Derrick Henry's thunder. Yet for some reason, we're not using him. We're not using him. And that speaks on the issue of John Harbaugh in terms of the decision making he's making in terms of personnel. Why aren't you using Keaton Mitchell? You're watching what's happening out here, and you don't seem to want to use Keaton Mitchell, who could bring a different element of running to this offense, and you'd rather just have him sit out games and just be a healthy scratch and walking around the sideline doing nothing, instead of having him on the field being an impactful player. That just doesn't make sense to me. That's just stupid. I'm going to say it straight up. That's just stupid. That's idiotic. You could sit any one of these undrafted guys that you're barely using to give a spot to Keaton so he could play, but you'd rather have him walk around the sideline and do nothing. With all the talent he has, let's just not utilize him. That's dumb. That's completely dumb. Another thing that has to be specified here, which I think we all know, Patrick Ricard is desperately missed. You're watching this run game without Patrick Ricard. We know how poor the offensive line is. Patrick Ricard, his absence is showcasing itself right now. They desperately need Patrick Ricard. With the way this O-line is playing, they want to run a lot of that I formation. They can't do it successfully enough without Patrick Ricard. They can't. They can't. When Derrick Henry was running behind Patrick Ricard, he was finding the holes. But there is no Patrick Ricard to run behind. You don't have that 300-pound fullback that can block anybody in front of him and pancake dudes. You're missing Patrick Ricard, and the run game is suffering because of that. These past 2 games have been the 2 lowest rushing performances in the Lamar Jackson era. We've never had back-to-back games with this poor of a rushing performance. We didn't even sniff 100 yards in either one of the last 2 games. That's a bad look. You keep running to the right side, to the weak side of the offensive line. Defenses have figured it out. They stop it. That's a bad look. Your offensive line can't get an ounce of push. That's a bad look. All of these are problems. All of these are issues. And the fact that your offensive line gave up 30 pressures is just the cherry on top as to what is wrong here with this offense. It starts and ends with the offensive line. There's no problem with the receiving core. Lamar Jackson's having a great season so far. He hasn't even turned the ball over once. Though he has had some turnover-worthy plays, but they didn't end up being turnovers. But there's nothing wrong with the offense, but there is a major problem with the offensive line. And you're starting to see it get to Lamar because he's having happy feet out there. And he's visibly pissed because he's getting zero protection. That's embarrassing. That's embarrassing. That's embarrassing. And that just speaks to some of the problems we're seeing here offensively. And why, despite the fact that they've put up 40, 41, and 30, there's still issues in how they got that level of points. There's still issues in how they were able to, get those scoring drives going. If they don't address this offensive line, they're going to get Lamar compromised. And if that happens, the fans will turn on the organization. I promise you that. Let Lamar get compromised because of this terrible offensive line and watch how the Ravens flock turns on Eric DeCosta, turns on John Harbaugh and that whole front office and coaching staff. Let Lamar get compromised because you want to keep this offensive line like this and see what happens. Keep playing with fire. We saw what happened in Cincinnati with Joe Burrow. Keep playing with fire. And when you get burnt, watch how the fans turn on you. But that's all I have to really say about the offense because, again, despite us bringing up these issues, which are long term issues, the offense wasn't much of a problem. They weren't the main issue. The main issue, the biggest issue, the most vital, important issue to address has been the same issue we have seen for the last 2 years now. We'll get to that. Let me take a look at some of these comments. I'm going to try to speed run this because we do have to talk about the second part, and I do not want to spend all my time talking about the comments before we actually get to where we need to get to. So, here we go. Key Mitchell keeps getting healthy scratches and we run 0 screens. Yep. Zay is a player we need to get on space. I'm getting space, 0 schemes. Yeah, we're just not doing much of anything. We're not doing much of anything in terms of utilizing our talents. The scoreboard last week proved that the numbers do in fact lie. That is true. This team is infuriatingly bad. Absolutely. Where was the Mark Andrews tush push on the goal line? Apparently they forgot they had that play because it was pathetic. The Ravens can't take criticism or they didn't post that because they can't take criticism or he can't take it. It is what it is. It don't matter if they didn't post it. We don't really care. Yeah, they were too scared to post. This is about me talking about John Harbaugh's birthday. So let's actually get into some of the other aspects here about what actually happened. What are we running stretches and pitches, or why are we running stretches and pitches to a 6'2", 250-pound, 31-year-old power back in Sid Keaton? I don't know why we're doing any of the things we're doing right now. When they did that trick play, I lost it. Me too, because it made no sense as to why they did this. Made no sense as to why they did this. Why do we have 3 active running backs and only give them a total of 11 carries? I don't know what the offense is doing right now. I'm not exactly sure. They don't even look in sync. And that's why Lamar is walking around pissed off because something is not right in Baltimore. Something is not right in Baltimore. Something is not right in Baltimore. Ravens again blew another second half lead. Yeah, technically it was another second half lead, but I mean, it was 7 points, and you knew your defense wasn't going to make a stop. I think I have a post that I saved in regards to that. I'm not really like majorly pressed in regards to this, but this does have to be mentioned. Since 2020, the Ravens have given away 16 different games in which they had a second half touchdown lead. That is 7 more losses than any team across the league. I just wanted to point that out. But again, in a game like that, a 7-point lead in the second half isn't really much. If they were up 14, it's a different conversation. But 7-point lead is not that much. But then again, that's another record that the Ravens have put up. So it is what it is. Every question to him directly asking about the O-line. 0 direct answers, 0. 0 accountability. They asked about the O-line. He brings up Lamar's name. This is our head coach. Just deflecting and refusing to take accountability. Just terrible. You see Lamar been fumbling the last 2 weeks. I think something is going on behind closed doors. He's not messing with this coaching staff anymore because our mentality is super weak. Bro, Lamar seems furious and sick of everything that's happening. You know, the funny part is someone also, I don't know if I have that as well. Someone mentioned this. Someone actively mentioned this. Please, let me see if I actually save this because I've been saving a lot of these posts. I don't have it here. I don't have it here. But someone mentioned that every time we like move we pan towards the sideline and Lamar is pissed off or agitated and talking to somebody, you actively see he's talking to both Derrick Henry and DeAndre Hopkins. So those 3 right now are trying to get this whole thing situated, and right now it's not working well. It's not going well. And it feels like we're on the verge of seeing everybody crash out on this team, and I don't know what that's going to mean if a crash out actually happens. Lamar was mad at the coaching staff. I don't blame him. I was saying fire Harbs after the season, but after side blaming Lamar, That just go ahead and get that culture keep popping now. And our next head coach needs to be a gritty style coach. Harbaugh wants friends. We had a guy that we could have given the job to in Mike McDonald, but whatever. Let Mike McDonald go to Seattle. Woo! I forgot. I absolutely forgot. That was another thing I wanted to bring up. And I'm going to need that when we go to the defense. Ooh. Oh boy, y'all gonna hate this, bro. Y'all gonna this is just gonna tear everybody apart. This is gonna tear everybody apart. I got a few stats in regards to Mike McDonald. Get ready for the defense. But yeah, we had a guy in Mike McDonald who could have taken that role. We said no. So it is what it is. Lamar been had a chip on his shoulder since 2023. The fact that Harbaugh doesn't buy into the Super Bowl or bust narrative screams incompetent. Why are you not trying to win every year? I don't know what he's doing at this point. I don't know what he's doing at this point. It's just ridiculous. Ravens will bounce back. Of course they'll bounce back. This is still a playoff team, but that's not going to help them come January. They'll just lose in January the same way they've always been losing. I blame EDC for not putting talent on the field. We can't say that this time. You got a whole secondary field with first round picks. The talent is not the issue. It's the coaching. You can't sit back and say there's not enough talent out there. We cannot use that. When you got a secondary field with first round picks, when you invested that much in the defense, you have multiple first team all pro level guys on that defense. You cannot sit back and say EDC did not put enough talent on the field. Now, if you want to look at EDC and have something to blame him for, blame EDC for not investing in this offensive line. But don't say he's not putting talent on the field. Say he didn't invest in the offensive line. That's the one thing EDC did not do, invest in the offensive line. The biggest mistake he made was letting Zeitler walk. That dude should have never left, and we're watching that right now. I was optimistic when they let him walk because I thought I had a game plan for the offensive line. They don't, and they clearly showed they didn't care. They just wanted to go younger and thought that'd be fine. Going younger without having a plan for the offensive line never works out in most situations. They didn't have a plan. So yeah. Lions outcoach us. Everyone outcoaches us. Makes us fear the deep threats early, then worked everything else underneath while working the run game. They destroyed us with the run game. Oh, I can't wait to get to the defensive side to talk about what they gave up. So we faced Chris Jones and the rest of that D line, then the Texans and the Rams D line. After the Chiefs this Sunday, yeah, we're gonna need more than prayers to help save Lamar for the rest of the year. I'm actively scared every time he comes out there. And if you saw yesterday, they were actively tackling him by his legs. I'm getting really scared and concerned for Lamar, and I think he's starting to get very pissed off that this is happening consistently. Firing a coach mid-season, is that dysfunctional? I was like, firing a coach mid-season, is that dysfunctional franchises do? Not you're saying doing that is what dysfunctional franchises do. Again, that's somewhat of a fair assessment, but when things aren't going well, it could ultimately save a season. The Raiders in 2021 fired their head coach. It saved the season. They went on a run and made the playoffs. Given the fact that they were not even going to be close to that, firing a coach did help them. Hell, 2012, people talk about it. We fired our offensive coordinator. That's a coach. We fired Cam Cameron. We let Jim Caldwell call the plays. And we saw what happened in the postseason that year. So it's not always something dysfunctional franchises do, but it is something that will happen if dysfunction is occurring within the organization. They were gassing Herbert for being pressured on 54% of his dropbacks, yet look at Lamar, who had to deal with. Dude, it's bad. It is bad. It is really bad. No quick short passing to deflate the defense established with Lamar. No short passing at all. Just bad. Just bad. Really, really bad. Offense wasn't even that bad apart from the O-line. Yeah, it was pretty much the offensive line. It was the offensive line, Derrick Henry fumbling, and the play calling not being the best. That was probably one of the worst times for play calling for Todd Monk, and it was just a bunch of stuff. Lamar shouldn't even be in the position to take 7 sacks. I agree, but it happened, and it's crazy that it did. O-line is getting too much heat in this game because of the play calls. The coaches should know by now that this line is trash, so screens need to be called. They don't believe it's trash. They don't buy into the thought that it's trash. They don't believe it's trash at all. That's why they continue to do what they do. That's just how it is. Shout out to Donovan with a $2 donation and a $5 donation. I thought this was therapy, and we gotta play better. We gotta play better. We gotta play better. We gotta play better. Harbaugh's a broken record. Player disguised as a human. Yeah, it's the same story every single time. It is the same story every single time. WonderCon was saying that before the draft, if LJ gets hurt, everybody's gonna play dumb. Oh, sure, absolutely, I agree with that. I absolutely agree with that. John Harbaugh must go. People have been saying that for a while. The O line is not good to run the power formation. Absolutely, and they can't stick, especially because they don't have Patrick Ricard. They can't run that without Patrick Ricard. Yet they keep trying to do so. Meanwhile, Harb's brother is run focused, but has a quarterback bailing, balling out over Western LA. Jim Harbaugh actually knows what he's doing as a coach. He's actually the aggressive brother, so that's a different conversation. They treated Mitchell like a starter just to keep him as a healthy scratch. Pathetic, absolutely pathetic. Yes, they're absolutely missing Patrick Ricard. It's clear. The most dominant rushing team since 2019. All of a sudden, we can't crack 100 yards rushing. I know it's embarrassing. Back-to-back games. Never happened in Lamar Jackson era. Never. And yet here we are. It's so bad. Harbaugh malpractice at its finest, yo, bro. I'm low. He said low. I said yo. Yeah, but Harbaugh malpractice at its finest. Bro would rather die on this hill of my way or the highway and continues to sell the team since our last Super Bowl. He ain't changing. He ain't changing. Honestly, if it takes for us to have one bad season with a healthy Lamar Jackson to make some major changes, I'm all for it. I think people are just starting to accept. If that ends up being the case, we'll take it if we can get some real change. If we start 1-3, I hope they don't use Zach Orr as a scapegoat. I mean, I hope they hold everybody accountable on the coaching staff and actually make some changes, but they won't do that. And what's up with us getting cued at the goal line? I talked about earlier. Todd Monken had one of his worst play calling performances in quite some time. I don't know why you would do that. That was just so dumb. It was a dumb decision. Do you think Harbs has lost the locker room? I think he's getting very close to losing the locker room because they seem disconnected right now. No, I talked about this. I made a video about this. You guys feel free to check it out. I made a video about this and posted this on my channel. Um, I titled it. Funny enough, I titled it "The Ravens Are Not a Football Team." Let me see. Yeah, the Ravens are no, I don't think I talked about. No, I titled it "The Truth About the Baltimore Ravens." You guys are free to go check that out, where I speak about what the Ravens are and what they aren't. They aren't a football team, and I talked about how nobody seems to be on the same page. This is a collective group of talented individuals that don't know how to work together as a unit, and they're led by an incompetent coaching staff. He may be very close to losing the locker room, and I think these guys are not even close to being where they need to be. Hey man, sorry about the loss. Good luck in our game Sunday, dude. You guys are gonna take the win. Get the win. Get yourself back together. We want to get. We're so disconnected right now. We know we're not gonna win in Kansas City. Has Mike McDonald ever taken accountability in Seattle? Absolutely, absolutely. But the fun thing about him is he don't really got to take accountability because his guys usually do what they do. If the quarterback don't deliver, the quarterback don't deliver. But he'll still take accountability when they lose. Did you see that pic of Lamar and Zay reacting to Montgomery breaking that long run? Yes, I did. Yes, I did. Remember that Lamar Jackson extension talk rumor? I have a feeling it didn't happen because Lamar might want to test the market or ask for a trade. Man, if this keeps happening, people have been guessing that could end up being the case, but we'll see how that goes. I miss Mike McDonald every day, bro. His defense. No, 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 no. Hold on, Jay. Hold on, Jay. I'm going to get to that. I'm going to get to that because we about to talk about this defense. We about to talk about this defense. We about to talk about this defense. The Ravens lost their identity of being a physical football team. The team mimics the coach. Soft and lost. Yeah, I agree. Well, you didn't say soft and lost. I'm saying that. I'm absolutely saying that. Can't even be mad if Lamar walks to free agency. People think that could end up being the case. If Lamar walks, I'm walking away from football. I mean, you can still watch him on other teams, but it is what it is. You can't do nothing about that. This team shouldn't show up for the Chiefs game Sunday. They probably won't. I don't know if you've seen that clip of Biscotti during the summer saying he wants to win now, but wants to win for John Harbaugh more than anyone. It said Lamar is last on this list of why. Yeah, it pretty much showcases where the mindset is. They're so in love with John Harbaugh, they'll deal with the incompetence that's happening on Harbaugh's watch. They will. I'm telling you, there's a high chance Harbaugh will outlast Lamar here. There's a high chance that happens, and I wouldn't be surprised. All the things that's happening on his watch, these are the things that Brian Billick got fired for, but they won't fire John Harbaugh for that. Interesting. Harbaugh isn't taking any accountability. It's always we instead of I. He's never taken accountability. He's not going to do that. How we fave Sunday? Because I don't know. I can't even explain it. We've beaten Kansas City once in 8 years. Why are we favored? I don't know. If they've already favored us, it's stupid. They're at home. We should not be favored. Kansas City can afford this slump. We're in panic mode. They've showcased they absolutely can afford this slump because we know what they're made of. They can overcome this. I don't know if we can. They can overcome it and get to a Super Bowl. I don't think we can overcome this and do anything significant. This team doesn't have the mentality to win a Super Bowl. John Harbaugh made this team soft as Charmin. They just look lost out there. They're not a football team. They're not a football team. Chris Jones and Carla Fetus rubbing their hands like Birdman looking at the O-line. They're about to smoke these guys. Anyway, that was all the comments I wanted to read here. Let's take this time to now switch over to the main focus, the main topic, the main discussion of this defense. By the way, just reading some stats out from the game. I did talk about this from offense before we move on. Lamar, 21 to 27, 288 yards passing, 3 touchdowns, no interceptions, QBR of 68.9, pass rating 148.1. A good chunk of that, well, the one touchdown and the good chunk of those yards were in essentially garbage time where the game was essentially over. But statistically, it's a good number. I mean, that's cool, but it don't really matter when you lose. Derrick Henry had 12 carries for 50 yards and a touchdown. He was averaging 4.2 yards a carry, so it wasn't like they were stopping him, but still, 12 carries for Derrick Henry is kind of weird. I don't know what's happening with this offense. It's very weird how things are going here, but it is what it is. Mark Andrews, 6 catches, 91 yards, 2 touchdowns. Rashad Bateman, 5 catches for 63 yards and a touchdown. Justice Hill, 3 catches, 45 yards. Devontae Walker had that one huge catch for 34 yards and then proceeded to get no targets afterwards. And he wasn't even on the field for the majority of that game. Charlie Kolar, 2 catches, 22 yards. DeAndre Hopkins, 1 catch for 13. Zay Flowers, 2 catches for 13 yards. Makes no sense when that's your best receiver. Derrick Henry had a reception for 7 yards. And Tyler Wallace had 1 target. Didn't get that catch. So 0 catches for 0 yards. Both Lamar Jackson there. Derrick Henry did fumble the ball. Lamar didn't lose the ball, but Derrick Henry did. And that's essentially how things go. Now it's time to flip to the main focus and the main topic of discussion. Defense. Defense. It's time to talk about the Ravens. Defense. So how did the defense do? Well, let's give you the play-by-play. Opening drive for the Detroit Lions. They got the ball first. The Lions took that ball, went 67 yards in 11 plays, took 6 minutes off the clock, scored a touchdown on their opening drive. Next drive for them, the Ravens forced a 3-and-out, but again, if you watch that one, no. It was a situation in which a throw by Goff was considered a backward pass. We discussed it here. It did not look like a backward pass. It shouldn't have been called a backward pass, but the ruling was backward pass, and because they ruled it as a backward pass, it ends up being a fumble, and it turns into a 2nd and 19 situation, and the Ravens took advantage of that and forced the punt. Third offensive possession here for the Detroit Lions. They go, this right here is the most egregious thing I've seen the Ravens defense do in a long time. I don't think the Ravens, out of all the defenses we've seen, like last year wasn't this bad. This may be the most egregious thing I've ever seen the Ravens defense do. The Ravens defense allowed an 18-play, 98-yard touchdown drive that took nearly 11 minutes off the clock. What's going on, Houston? Appreciate you stopping by. An 18-play, 98-yard touchdown drive that took nearly 11 minutes off the clock. Are you serious right now? This defense in their building on prime time with those uniforms on allowed an 18-play, 98-yard touchdown drive that took 11 minutes off the clock. You can't be serious, dude. This sorry excuse of a Ravens defense really did that. Let's move on. Next drive, they force a 3-and-out, punt the football. Okay. Next drive, they actually gave up a couple plays. This was before halftime. They did what they always do and play prevent defense, allowed the Lions to get into field goal range, and they missed the field goal, so it stays 14-14. Here comes the fun part. Ooh, here comes the fun part. Second half, everything goes to hell. So here we go. The third quarter, the Ravens defense allows a 60-yard touchdown drive. 7 plays, 60 yards, 3:38 taken off the clock, touchdown. This is the situation in which the Ravens came out the locker room, scored a touchdown. They took 6 minutes, 73-yard drive, scored a touchdown to take the lead. The Lions went on the field, 7 plays, got this done in 3.5 minutes and tied the game up. The Lions get the ball back with this being 21-21. And the sorry excuse, the sorry, embarrassing, pathetic, disgraceful excuse of a Ravens defense, they did it again. They said, we can't just give up one 95-plus yard drive at home. We got to give up 2. So the Ravens, this embarrassing, pathetic, disgraceful excuse of a Ravens defense, gave up a 7-play, 96-yard drive that took 3:41 off the clock. This drive included a 72-yard run by Montgomery. (28-21) Ravens. Next time the Lions get the ball, they punt the football. Next time they get afterward, that was after the Derrick Henry fumble, they only ran 4 plays, and they kicked a field goal. After that, they got the ball back because Baltimore decided to punt instead of going for it on 4th down, and the Lions went 7 plays, 70 yards, 242, which ended with another touchdown run by Montgomery. This one was a 31-yard touchdown run to basically ice the game and make it 38-24. Game's over. Who the hell cares? The Ravens defense gave up not 1, but 2. 2 95-plus yard drives. I told you I got a stat for a lot of things the Ravens did. So let me bring this up here. Someone's tweeting this again. 11 p.m. and no John Harbaugh birthday post by the Ravens. Very interesting. So I want to point this out here. The Ravens gave up not 1, but 2 95-plus yard touchdown drives. And I want to read this directly because I already know the answer to this, but I want to read this directly to you. The last time the Baltimore Ravens allowed a 95-yard touchdown drive in Baltimore was in 2001. Let me repeat this to you. The last time the Baltimore Ravens allowed a 95-yard touchdown drive in Baltimore was 2001. Last night, they gave up 2. A 96-yard touchdown drive and a 98-yard. So let me get this straight. A Ravens defense has not given up a 95-yard touchdown drive in Baltimore since 2001. And we allowed 2 95-yard-plus touchdown drives. And you expect me to take this so-called pathetic excuse of a Ravens defense seriously? Very interesting here. Very interesting. Let's get into some fun numbers, guys. Jared Goff was 20 of 28 for 202 passing yards, 1 touchdown, no interception, passer rating of 103.6, and a QBR of 72.6. Jared Goff was not touched once because the Ravens defense had 0 sacks. The Ravens defense had 0 sacks. They didn't touch Jared Goff once in this game. He was completely clean the entire game. So he had all day to throw, and he never had to worry. Here's another thing I could throw out to you. Another stat for the night. Let me pull it up here because we are pulling up stats. Let me give you another stat for the night. Another sorry, pathetic excuse. Let me give you another stat for tonight. According to Next Gen Stats, the Ravens missed 20 tackles last night. The Ravens defense missed 20 tackles. According to Next Gen Stats, the Baltimore Ravens defense missed 20 tackles last night. 20. The Ravens defense missed 20 sacks last night. Not 20 sacks, 20 tackles last night. They didn't record a sack. They didn't touch the quarterback. And they gave up 20 sacks. Hold on, Juju. Let me finish this off and you're going to hear about what I have to talk about here. Another thing to point out for you here. The Detroit Lions rushed for 224 yards. 224. David Montgomery, 12 carry. Let me start. Jahmyr Gibbs, 22 carries, 67 yards, 2 rushing touchdowns for him. David Montgomery, 12 carries, 151 yards, and 2 touchdowns. He averaged 12.6 yards a carry against us last night. 151 rushing yards on 12 carries and 2 touchdowns. 67 rushing yards and 2 touchdowns for Jahmyr Gibbs. The Ravens gave up 224 rushing yards. A Ravens defense has not given up over 200 yards rushing since 2017. They did that last night. Is it starting to click how bad this defense is? Is it really starting to click? Is it truly starting to click? It's got to be starting to click at this point, right? I mean, this defense stinks, right? Let's pull up some more numbers. This time we'll actually move past this aspect. Let me tell you what you need to know. The Baltimore Ravens allowed 4 rushing touchdowns in a home game. That is the first time in their 30-year history that a Ravens defense allowed 4 rushing touchdowns. For the first time in franchise history, for the first time in our 30-year history, a Ravens defense allowed 4 rushing touchdowns. We're making history here. We're really making history. Should I continue? Should I continue? Because all we seem to do is make history. All we seem to do is make history. Let me add one more thing so you can understand just how bad it is. I am going to let you know a few things here about this Ravens defense. I have 2 things to share with you first that I'm going to speak on. First of all, I want to let you know right now that the Ravens have given up the most total yards of any team in the National Football League through 3 games. The Ravens are averaging giving up 415 yards a game. That is the most yardage given up by a defense this year. 415 yards. Didn't we allow 4 versus the Browns? Did we? No, at home. I don't know if I specified that. Excuse me. I don't know. I'm pretty sure I specified that. At home. If I didn't, my apologies. I need to specify it again. The Ravens, for the first time in 30 years, allowed 4 rushing touchdowns in a home game. I wasn't saying in terms of on the road, because remember that. At home. The Ravens defense has never allowed 4 rushing touchdowns at home. They've allowed 4 rushing touchdowns on the road before, but they've never allowed an opponent to come into their building and get 4 rushing touchdowns. That was the first time in franchise history where the defense allowed 4 rushing touchdowns in their building. I don't know if I specified that. That's my mistake, but I'm saying that's the first time they allowed 4 rushing touchdowns at home. They've done that on the road before, but at home, they haven't given up 4 rushing touchdowns. But yeah, the Ravens defense has given up the most total yards of any defense this year through 3 games. They have given up an average of 415 yards. An average of 415 yards. That is the most by any team this year. The team that's given up the second most is the New York Giants. The team that has given up the third most is the Dallas Cowboys. The team that has given up the fourth most is the Chicago Bears. I'm just letting you know that the Ravens defense has given up the most total yards of any football team through 3 games. That's what they've done. You want to make it even worse? Oh, I'll tell you how we can make it even worse. In terms of points per game, the defense is ranked 31st. They've given up the second most points per game out of every team in the league. They rank 31st. In terms of total yards, like we said, they're dead last. They've given up the most yards per game. In terms of passing yards given up per game, they rank 31st. They are the second worst pass defense in the National Football League right now. In terms of rushing yards per game, they are ranked 30th. They are the third worst run defense in the National Football League. In terms of third down percentages, they rank 24th, meaning teams about what? I don't even know how many percent you would say this. Teams more than likely convert on third downs against the Ravens. Matter of fact, let me add to this so you can understand what happened last night. Let me see if I can pull it up. Let's see. The Detroit Lions. Just to add to that so you can understand how things are. The Detroit Lions. Let me see. The Detroit Lions on third down, they were 7 of 14 on third down, and they were 3 of 3 on fourth down. So they were 50% on third down, and they were 100% on fourth down. In terms of red zone touchdown percentage, they rank 28th. They are one of the worst red zone defenses in the National Football League. In terms of giving up 20-plus point yard plays, they are tied for 30th. They are tied for the third worst team in this scenario. So they actually give up the third most 20-plus yard plays. They are a defense that gives up explosive plays. That is what the 2025 Ravens defense have been through 3 games. Like I said, they are ranked last in total defense, and they are ranked 31st in scoring defense. This defense is beyond a joke. We let Mike McDonald go. And Juju, I can now bring this up. We let Mike McDonald go. He's the head coach of the Seattle Seahawks. We let Mike McDonald go. We let him walk through the door. He didn't walk out the door. We let him walk through the door. Just to let you know, he's definitely not coming back. Mike McDonald is in Seattle right now as the head coach of the Seattle Seahawks. Do you want to know what's going on over there? The Seattle Seahawks defense, led by their head coach Mike McDonald, ranks 2nd in the National Football League in points allowed at 15.7. They are the 2nd best scoring defense in the National Football League, because they have allowed the 2nd fewest points. Seattle in 3 games has allowed 47 points. You want to make it worse? The Seattle Seahawks are ranked 6th in total offense. They're ranked 5th in total defense, and they're ranked number 1 in special teams. So they got a top 5 defense, a top 6 offense through 3 games, and they have the best special teams in the National Football League under head coach Mike McDonald. We let this guy walk. We let this guy walk. He really did. We let this guy walk. We let this guy walk. We really let this guy walk. Let me give you another stat in regards to the Seattle Seahawks, because we're pulling out a lot here. Through 3 games this year, the Seattle defense has allowed the 7th fewest rush yards and the 3rd lowest yard per carry average in the National Football League. I'm The Seattle defense is 2nd in the league in total pressures and quarterback knockdowns, and they're doing it while blitzing at the 5th lowest rate in the league. We let this guy walk. We really let this guy walk. Ain't no way. Ain't no way we let this guy walk. There's no way. There's no way we let this guy walk. No. Y'all gotta be trolling me with these stats. There's no dog. Dog, please. Please. Seattle's defense is 2nd in total pressures and quarterback knockdowns, and they're doing it while blitzing at the 5th lowest rate in the league. Seattle was 30th in total defense before they got Mike McDonald. They're top 5 under him. We let this guy walk. This guy was a gift to this city. He was a gift to this franchise. The closest we got to a legit Ravens defense was under this guy. The Triple Crown defense that led the league in sacks, led the league in takeaways, and was the number 1 scoring defense. Instead of handing over the head coaching job to this guy, we let him walk. We let this guy walk. And now Seattle's back to being an elite defense, and we've got the worst defense in the National Football League. You see why this organization has fallen? They've fallen because they're so in love with John Harbaugh that the mere thought of putting anybody in that position, it just hurts them so bad. You let Mike McDonald walk to Seattle when you could have offered him the job with all the talent that you have here. I'm about to go check this out right now. I'm about to go check this out right now. I'm about to go check this out right now. I'm really about to go check this out right now because this is I give up on this franchise. You let this guy walk. I can't believe it. I can't believe they they really let this guy walk. They let this guy walk. There's no way. He did that. He did that and they let him walk. Oh, nah, this team is a joke. This franchise has become fraudulent. There's no way. There's no way. There's no way, bro. You can't be serious right now. Let's see. In terms of total yards given up per game, Seattle's at 311. Baltimore is dead last at 415. In terms of passing yards given up, Seattle's averaging giving up 221 pass yards per game. Baltimore's averaging 266. In terms of rushing yards given up per game, Seattle is averaging giving up 90 rush yards per game. Baltimore's averaging giving up 149. In terms of points per game given up, Seattle has given up a total of 47 points, so they're averaging giving up 15.7 points per game, and Baltimore has given up a whopping 96 points, and they're averaging giving up 32 points a game. I mean, you can't make this up. You can't make this up, bro. You can't make this up. They let Mike McDonald walk. You can't make this up. It's so funny. This is so funny. This is so funny. It's so funny. They let him walk. They let him walk. Oh my god, they let him walk. Oh, they let him walk. Oh, they let him walk. Seattle has one of the best special team units in the league. They let him walk. People were so afraid. How could you move off a Harbaugh? Mike McDonald hasn't proven himself. We could have had Mike McDonald here with this level of talent. Go look at the talent pool in Seattle and look at what he's working with. Imagine what he could do with this. Oh, we know what he could do with this because we saw what he could do with this. I can't. I'm so lost, man. I can't. I can't. I can't. I can't. Oh my god, I can't. Mike McDonald has changed lives in Seattle. He's changed life for Seattle. We let him walk right out the door instead of giving him the head coaching job. And he's changed life in Seattle. Meanwhile, we got a BUM at defensive coordinator. And we can't do anything about it. To wrap things up here in regards to the players, they're soft. The Ravens defense is soft. The guys out there are soft. They're fake demons. The Ravens defense, they're filled with a bunch of fake demons. They're spoiled, entitled players that are living off of the legacy that they didn't even help build. That's what the Ravens defense are. They are spoiled, entitled players that are living off of a legacy that they had no help in building. They're living off of a reputation that they have no help in assisting making. They're spoiled. They're entitled. They've got all the talent in the world, and they don't put the work in to be great. They don't put the work in to work together as a unit. Where are our leaders? All these guys do is run their mouth. The Ravens used to be about action. We let our play on the field define who we are. There wasn't a lot of chirping and talking from the Ravens. That defense let their actions speak. The only person that was talking was Ray Lewis. Ray Lewis was talking. He was giving those motivational speeches in those press conferences. He was talking. And he was letting his action, this play on the field, speak for his words. In fact, his play on the field emphasized the words he was saying. This was a franchise that was built on defense and was feared around the league. You didn't want to play them. Some of the greatest quarterbacks, if not the greatest quarterbacks, had trouble dealing with this defense and will speak night and day for the greatness that they had to go up against when you're dealing with Ray Lewis, when you're dealing with Ed Reed, when you're dealing with Terrell Suggs. A Hall of Fame defense. This current gen Ravens defense, they're so soft. They're so coddled. They're so spoiled. They're so entitled. They're trying to live off of a legacy and a reputation that they didn't build. And they don't even come close to living up to that. We could say all we want about the coaches. But when you're on that football field, it's up to you to produce. And these boys don't produce on the field. All I see is a bunch of fake demons on the field. All the talent in the world, but can't put it together. All the talent in the world, but it's just a waste because you're too busy running your mouth and talking as opposed to letting your actions speak. And the sad part is you do got a couple demons there, but they get overshadowed because the rest of these guys are fake demons. They don't care. And it feels like you're getting to a point where we have to understand that these players just don't care. It doesn't hurt them. They don't care. They're millionaires. They're going to get paid no matter what. They're going to go back home and chill. They don't care. Back then, you used to care. These losses used to hurt. It used to mean something. It used to be significant. These players don't care. They don't care. You take a loss. It's the end of the. It's what it is. It's the end of the game. You go home. You chill out. You relax. Who cares? It doesn't affect them. You knew every game we lost it affected Ray Lewis, and he emphasized that in the locker room. These guys aren't hurt by losses. Not at all. They don't even walk around like they're hurt by losses. They go to the media, spew out the same thing that John Harbaugh spews as well, the same generic answers. They don't care. They don't care. And you could see it right here with one of our leaders. Thank you, Ramsey. You brought it up exactly where I was going to. You brought it up here. Marlon Humphrey, what he pulled today, showcases to me exactly who this current gen Ravens are. They don't care. They don't. They don't care at all. Not an ounce of care. Not an ounce of care. They don't. They do not give a damn. They're just there to make money. They're there to chill out. Wins, losses, who cares? Marlon Humphrey. Not even 24 hours passed since they suffered that humiliating loss that's supposed to eat at you. And you got this man posting on his podcast, rough day at the office, but it's a new day. They don't care. They don't care. At all. They don't care. And you know the sad part is, we have a quarterback that truly cares. And we know this is eating him up. We see it eating him up on the sideline. And he's surrounded by guys like Marlo that doesn't care. Marlo has all the talent in the world, but I don't think he cares enough. And the weird part is that despite me saying he doesn't care enough, if you look at the press conferences, it would seem like he cares by the way he's speaking. But you do something like this, how am I supposed to believe you care? How am I supposed to take away from this? We go to his press conferences, and from what he's been saying, it really feels like he cares. But then he pulls a stunt like this. And I want to sit back and say this. I don't have a problem with anybody having a podcast. I've been one of the people on the opposite side saying, I don't have a problem with people having a podcast. These players having a podcast in this era. Everybody has hobbies. Everybody wants to have a voice. Everyone wants to set themselves up for life after, their career. Everybody wants to do things outside of the game. I get it. Everyone has a life. Everyone has hobbies. I don't mind that. But my issue is you can't sense the moment. You can't sense the moment. If Marlon Humphrey would have posted this tomorrow, I don't think people would be on this case like they were today. If you would have posted tomorrow and say, hey, that loss hurt, but I had a whole day to assess it, move on for it, and lock into Kansas City, I don't think people would be on this case. He posted that at 11 a.m. in the morning. Not 12 hours passed since the game ended. Not 12 hours passed and he posted that. That's the problem. I don't care if you want to do a podcast. Do what you want. But hours after the game, after an embarrassing, humiliating way you guys lost when the defense put up one of the worst performances in franchise history, broke records, made history. And not even 12 hours passed, and you on your podcast talking about, rough day in the office. Today's a new day. We just got to get over it. Are you serious, dude? That's one of our leaders. And you expect the fans to believe you guys are serious about winning? You already got a head coach that talked about this not being Super Bowl or bust. That should tell you the type of mindset these guys have. They don't care. And if they don't care, we shouldn't care. I wonder how long it's going to take before those fire Harbaugh or fire Zachary Orr chants happen at the stadium. It's only a matter of time. If the players are going to show us that they don't care, then we should not care. We shouldn't. We shouldn't care. If you're not going to take this seriously, we shouldn't take you seriously. And the sad part is, I know the fans aren't going to be able to do it. The way you could actually show a fan base in a franchise you don't care is by actively showing your outrage. But fans aren't going to do that. You may show the fire chants, but it won't do much. The quickest way to showcase that you don't care is by not going to the games. If they're not going to care, we shouldn't care. You don't go to the games. I bet if you don't go to the games and Steve starts losing money, he'll make a change real quick. But the fans are not going to do that. They're not going to stop themselves from watching a football game. That's not going to happen. So that's not a method that could work. That's why you have to rely on the fire Harbaugh, fire Zachary Orr chants that will probably start to arise the more this continues to happen and the longer they continue to be here. But it is what it is. And yeah, when one of your leaders is on a podcast not 12 hours after a humiliating loss, talking about rough day at the office, but it's a brand new day, you expect us to take this team seriously. That's one of your leaders. And we're supposed to take you seriously? Why? Why should we take you seriously? There's nothing serious to take. We can't take you seriously when you're saying that. We can't take you seriously when that is the action you choose to take. We can't take you seriously at all. So we understand that the Ravens are an unserious football team. In fact, I have personally said the Ravens aren't a football team at all. They're a collection of individuals, a talented collection of individuals that don't know how to work as a unit. That's what they are. They're soft. They're entitled. They're spoiled. They're trying to lean on lean on the legacy and reputation that Ray Lewis, Ed Reed, and Terrell Suggs built in the city. They're trying to lean on that, and they don't even come close to representing what those guys did. They're spoiled. They're immature. They don't know what they're doing. And our franchise quarterback looks like he's sick of all of this crap. So keep at it and keep pissing off your franchise quarterback. He ain't signed no extension just yet. Just keep pissing him off and watch what happens. Since you're so loyal to Harbaugh, since you refuse to fire Zachary Orr, since these guys continue to play like this, just piss off your quarterback and see if he accepts that extension. Good luck with that, EDC. If it comes down to you got to make a choice, your best friend and neighbor or your franchise quarterback that can get this team a championship, go make that choice real soon. We'll see how that works out for you, big dog. Whatever you want to do. But I'm done with these defense. I'm done with them. I'm finished with them. I have no hope. I have no faith. I have no belief in them. They can't be trusted. So I'm done with that defense. I'm done with that defense. They're spoiled. They're immature. And all they want to do is ride the coattails of the legacy and reputation that Ray Lewis, Ed Reed, and Terrell Suggs built here. They're disgracing the Ravens' name every time they step foot on that field. They're pissing off and angering their predecessors every time they step foot on the field. And when you got one of your leaders doing that, posting an episode not 12 hours since the game, talk about rough day of the offense, but it's a brand new day, it shows you what kind of football team you are and what type of leadership you have out there. I saw a comment that said something very funny. Rest in peace to Goose. If anyone would have tried to pull that crap, Goose would have choked him out. You couldn't pull what Marlon Humphrey did and then walk back into the locker room and expect Ray Lewis to not confront you for that. We had real demons in Baltimore. True defensive monsters. And now we got a bunch of soft choir boys. Like all the talent in the world and all the range in the world to do whatever they want. And they don't do anything with it. I'm done with that defense. Don't tell me nothing about that defense. I don't care what stops they make moving forward. I don't care. They can go to Kansas City next week and hold Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs to 0 points. It wouldn't impress me worth a damn. There's not a damn thing this defense can do at this stage. The only thing that could change these guys is by getting an adult in the room. Get a real adult in the room. A real enforcer. A true leader of men that can whip that sorry defense into shape. Which leads me to Zachary Orr. Get out. Get out. If you want to go on, because the Ravens don't fire people, if you want your old linebacking coach job, fine. You, sir, are not ready to handle the mantle. You, sir, do not know how to lead men at this point. You don't. You are not a leader of men. You don't know what you're doing. You are showing this. I know you don't know what you're doing. Because on third down during that 98-yard drive, you let rookie edge rusher Mike Green cover Sam Laporta. You had a rookie edge rusher back up into coverage and cover Sam Laporta. That shows me you have no idea what you're doing. You have no clue what you're doing. And the fact that this defense is so damn immature and can't do anything right, and it's happening on your watch, shows me you don't know how to lead. They're spoiled, they're entitled, they're immature. Have all the talent in the world, but they're spoiled, entitled, and immature. And it's happening on your watch. That shows me you don't know how to lead a group of men. You don't know how to be an enforcer. You don't. Not at all. Mike McDonald wouldn't allow that crap to happen. Go look at Seattle's defense. Mike McDonald's not letting that crap happen. But you are. You're not ready. Get out. Go back to your old linebacking coach's job. Take some time to truly learn how to do this, and then come back. Probably not to the Ravens. I don't know if he'll come back and take that, but maybe somewhere else. But for now, if you want your old linebacking coach's job, you should go get it. But right now, you, as somebody that used to play on this defense and understands the standards, you are the defensive coordinator, and you're letting this happen on your watch. You can't lead. So do everybody a favor and get out. Go up there to ADC or Steve and say, I'm hurting this team right now. I can't lead those guys. Move me back to the linebacking coach's position. Let me learn. You don't know what you're doing. You're a very talented individual. Absolutely talented. And I think one of these days you will be ready for the role. But you're not ready right now. It was too early for you to step foot into that position. Losing Mike McDonald was everything. And you had to step in. And it's clear as day, you're not ready. Get out. You will be ready someday, though. You have talent and you have the capability of being a defensive coordinator in this league. It's just not your time yet. Get out. You're not going to trick anybody anymore. Everyone sees the writing on the wall. I don't care what, past the bye week, nobody cares what you do to those smaller teams. You're not tricking anybody. You're not fooling anybody. You guys are going to ride. Look, you're going to utilize your talent. You're going to get to the playoffs by only using your talent. You're going to ride your talent instead of enforcing the little things. Y'all had Ray Lewis up there during training camp and Michael Phelps up there, and they talked about enforcing the little things. And y'all didn't listen to a damn thing you said. You could tell they were really telling you real things as legendary athletes, goats at their position, who have won at the highest level. They're giving you the advice. And they're emphasizing how the small little things matter, how the small little details matter. They're giving you the advice, and you can't even take it. Get out. Not Todd, Jesus. Get out. I'm so mad at him right now. I can't even think. Get out, Zachary Orr. Please. Please go back to your linebacking coach's job. Take some time to learn what it truly means to be a leader of men so you can actually lead a defense, and then you could try to get it done years from now. But you're not ready right now. You're talented. You have the capability to do this, but you're not ready right now. You had real legends come up here to try to enforce the importance of emphasizing the little things, and you guys still can't get it done. Y'all don't listen. Y'all don't learn. Y'all don't care. And it starts with coaching. Because if you have a room of guys that don't listen and don't care, then this is what you're going to get. So you, Zachary Orr, get out. Get out. Now. Will that happen? No. Because this franchise is slowly becoming more and more incompetent. And we're going to look back. When Lamar doesn't win a championship with this team, we're going to look back and say we wasted our Hall of Fame quarterback who was desperately trying to win for this team. Congrats to you. True failures. We're building a nice legacy of failure in Baltimore. Just pissing all over the legacy of the Ravens defense. What a joke. John Harbaugh, I'm sick and tired of talking about you. There's nothing more to say. You don't change. You don't grow. You don't learn. You don't adapt. You never take accountability. There's nothing to say. You have this franchise wrapped around your thumb. Steve is the owner, but you're the second in command. EDC doesn't have the guts to fire you. Your next door neighbors and great friends. You have the best job security in the world because you'll never get fired. You'll never get fired. You'll never be held accountable for your actions. You allowing this to happen. You're allowing all of this to happen on your watch. You never once took accountability. What are you doing to enforce the rules here? You've got a bunch of spoiled brats playing defense. And nobody's growing, and nobody's changing, and nobody's learning, and nothing's getting fixed. You've got a defensive coordinator that has no idea what he's doing. And you don't make the change. When it comes to situational football, you stink and constantly get outcoached. I'm tired of talking about you. There's no point in telling you to get out. You'll never leave. You won't leave until you're ready to retire. There's no point in talking about fire Harbaugh or you need to go. You're going nowhere. You're second in command. Steve owns the franchise, but you're second in command. They'll never fire you. So you'll keep making the mistakes. You'll keep doing the same crap you've been doing for years now. While everybody else and all your fanboys and all the Harbaugh angels excuse everything that's happening under your watch and blame everybody else and act like Harbaugh is this perfect coach that's never done anything wrong. He won a Super Bowl! So did Doc Rivers. Did that stop Doc Rivers from getting fired? No. John Harbaugh has done everything that got Brian Billick fired. But Coach Harbaugh has not gotten fired. He's developed a nice little cult in Baltimore. Step out of line, and you get put in the doghouse. Keep stepping out of line, and you get cut. He's built a nice little cult in Baltimore. He owns everything. So it's all good. The Ravens won't be winning a Super Bowl this year. They won't be accomplishing their goals. And they'll be one step closer from Lamar Jackson losing his mind and either spazzing off on this team or just choosing to not sign the extension. Or maybe both. We'll be here for it when it eventually happens. Because I think Harbaugh is going to outlast Lamar in Baltimore. And it's clear as day to me. They will never fire this guy. And his angels will never hold him accountable. So at this point, the Harbaugh angels would rather Lamar go somewhere else than to lose Harbaugh. So that's going to happen. And when Lamar goes to another team and wins a championship, he'll solidify his legacy. And we'll remember him in Baltimore as a great player. But we'll also remember that this organization chose to keep that parasite over this future Hall of Fame quarterback. When it happens, I'll be here and I'll talk about it. Because it's getting closer and closer every day. You're watching Lamar on the field pissed off every week. It's starting to become a pattern. And when he ultimately snaps and calls it quits on this franchise, nobody will be surprised. And then John Harbaugh can reign supreme as his team proceeds to win nothing. It's all cool, though. So I'm not going to tell Harbaugh to go anywhere or get fired because it's a waste of time. He's not going anywhere. So it is what it is. With that being said, guys, I have said everything I need to say about this game, and I am officially ready to watch John Harbaugh get outcoached by Andy Reid for the 50 millionth time. You guys ready for Kansas City to whoop us? Oh, I can't wait. Kansas City's going to just go out there. Their offense is terrible. They can't consistently score. Patrick Mahomes has not been playing great football. Travis Kelce looks washed. I can't wait for them to score all over our defense because you know it's happening. You know it's happening. Who would I put in Orr's place? You either A, go look for somebody, which you don't have time to do right now, or B, you have to promote somebody. You got Chuck that you brought back. You could use him. You've got Dean that's here. You could use him. You brought in all these extra coaches to try to help out here. You can promote one of those coaches. You've got Chuck that you brought back this year. You could put him back at the spot of defensive coordinator. You got Dean Pease. Put him back there. Because even though Dean Pease has a very, very incredibly annoying conservative defense, he actually knows what he's doing as a defensive coordinator. You may not completely like his defense, but he actually knows what he's doing as a defensive coordinator. You've got two guys in this coaching staff that used to be a defensive coordinator or assist on the defense in Baltimore. You brought them back. You brought them back. Utilize them. Move Zachary Orr back to linebackers coach if you want, or fire him, whatever works for you. I would personally look to go actually get some adult in the room and see what defensive coordinator you can get. Hell, we literally saw the Colts call up who did they call up? Call up Jeff Saturday and say, "Hey, come coach this team." They brought him up. And I'm not saying he's going to come fix the problems, but that dude is on ESPN damn near every day talk about what we are doing wrong. If it was up to me, I'd call up Rex Ryan. I'd call up Rex Ryan right now and say, what do you want to come coach again? We got a lot of talent in Baltimore. You want to come back here and coach this defense? I know what Rex Ryan can do as a coach, as a defensive coordinator. I know what his defenses can do. You got Rex Ryan on ESPN constantly on Get Up talking about how this defense is messing up and what they're doing wrong and they're not enforcing this. I don't need him to do that. I don't need him to be on ESPN talking about what the Ravens are doing wrong. How about you come here and address what they're doing wrong and whip them back into shape? If he's willing to. I mean, Jeff Saturday left ESPN to go coach the Colts for a while. If he wants to, by all means. But they're not going to do that. Like I'm saying, if they were going to move off of Zachary Orr, they'll just promote somebody. Again, you have two former people on this Ravens staff that used to be defensive coordinators for the Ravens. You could try to go put Dean Pease. If you have to me, I'm just saying, Rex Ryan, you still got the juice? Rex Ryan, you still got the juice? You still got the juice? Hell, another person that loves talking about the Ravens in this scheme. I'm not saying you got to, and I'm not saying I wouldn't choose this. I would say Rex Ryan. But it wouldn't be the worst case scenario if you made a call to Gruden. Not saying you should. I'm saying lean more towards Rex Ryan. But if you called Gruden to come coach this defense, I wouldn't say it's the worst thing in the world. But I still don't think that'd work. I'd probably say more towards a guy like Rex Ryan if you wanted to. But that's a different conversation for a different time. Anyway, guys, that's all I have to say here. This has been the Week 3 Ravens therapy session because it's 12:17 in the morning, and I'm going to read off some of these final chats, and we are going to call it a night here. So let me get into some of this here. We might as well blow up this season because we might not make the playoffs if we lose to Kansas City. We'll see what happens. This defense is worse than last year. Yep, we are worse than last year. Can't stop the run, can't stop the pass. If Lamar walks, I'm rooting for whatever team of his to win a Super Bowl until he retires. We got a couple rings since I've been alive. I could do a ringless bid. They ran all over that defense. It's soft. The coach is soft. Coach Sharman. You're not wrong. As a Steelers fan, I feel your pain. Yeah, is what it is. Last year people were throwing on us. This year they're running on us. Brian, they're doing both. They're running and throwing on us. We're one of the worst pass defenses and one of the worst rush defenses in the National Football League. They're doing it all against us. Passing, running, whatever. You can move the ball in this defense no matter what. If Lamar was to walk, what team would he go to? Wherever the hell he wants to go to. I don't know. Whoever wants to give him a long-term contract. You need 10 statues if you won a Super Bowl with the team. That'd be funny. Sign C.J. Gardner-Johnson. That wouldn't change anything. That would not change anything in the all. It would change nothing. Absolutely nothing. Our Texans played the Seahawks week 7 after their bye week in week 6. Yeah, it's gonna be a tough defense for y'all to face off against. Ravens fans truly miss Mike McDonald. We talk about him every day. We really do miss him. Harbaugh has weaseled his way into the owner's inner circle. The team isn't going anywhere as long as he is here. Harbs is like 63 years old, holding on to this team, holding this team hostage from progressing. If he wants to be in the front office, go be in the front office. I just don't need him to coach this team. I don't care what he does. I don't need you to be the head coach of this team anymore. Don't worry, we'll draft another safety in the first round because that's what we need to make, and that's what we need to make an immediate impact. This is what it is, man. That's exactly what Marlon said on his podcast. He got paid, so he doesn't care. I don't think any of these guys care. Miss the old days when NFL players weren't on podcasts and social media. Back when they really locked into football and really cared. Lamar's going to have a George Pickens level crash out one of these games. Oh, it's coming. It's coming. It's coming. How is Lamar and Derrick Henry the only ones wanting to win bad while everyone else plays soft and with no harder effort? It's unfortunate. It's a bunch of kids on the team and the immaturity is showing, plus no strong leadership. That's a recipe for disaster. Absolutely correct, Taka. I couldn't agree more. Lamar's going to go out and put up the most points in franchise history as the defense gives up the most points in franchise history. Such a shame. Such an absolute shame. Ray Lewis said it best. Stop riding on talent, ride on purpose. These people don't listen. These youngsters don't care nowadays. Rely on that hard work, trust your teammates, and don't leave shit out on the field. They don't care, dude. They don't listen to anything these leaders are telling them. They don't listen. They don't listen. What I don't understand is we had a whole offseason to figure out what is wrong with the defense, and they haven't figured it out yet. It's I'm sorry, I'm not even gonna talk about that parasite anymore. It's the defensive coordinator, X-Man. He doesn't know what he's doing. He doesn't know what he's doing. He can't lead this group. He has no idea what he's doing. The coverages are dumb. He had a freaking rookie edge rusher cover Sam Laporta on third down. He doesn't know what he's doing. He's lost. If the Ravens can't beat the Chiefs this year, Ravens need a major fix. They won't change anything. They won't change anything at all. If we lose next week, we are cooked. Probably going to lose next week. Probably are going to lose next week. It is what it is. Is Salah available? I wouldn't mind Robert Salah if he's available. Rex been out the game too long, and he'd probably still do a better job than Zachary Orr. Not saying you need to call Rex Ryan. I just threw it out there. But if we could get, I don't even know if Robert Salah, if he's available, I'd go call him up. I'm tired of the Ravens waiting too long to make changes. That's the Ravens way. That's the Ravens way. So yeah, he's in San Francisco. Okay. Yeah, so I don't know. I didn't know where he was, so I wasn't even gonna try. If there's anyone that you could find that's available to come coach this defense, by all means do so. Ravens getting shut out by the Chiefs, and in the playoffs against them, double shutout. They're not gonna get shut out by the Chiefs. The Chiefs aren't that great, and the Ravens do have one of the best scoring offenses. The thing is, they're not going to win that game because the defense is going to fold like they always do. And when it comes to situational football, we absolutely stink. So they'll find a way to blow it late in the game. This Ravens team is acting like the Cowboys, immature brats. We are the Cowboys of the AFC, after all. As soon as Henry fumbled, I knew the fans were going to blame this whole game on him rather than the defense giving up 30-plus points. It is what it is. Sad sight, Lamar is a monster, and the defense has been getting the belt for 2 years now. Yep. So Lamar finds a way and carries us to a Super Bowl and we win, or just getting there. What would that tell you? I mean, I don't know what that would really. I don't have a specific thing to say. I can't even. I don't even know what to say in that situation because I don't think we're gonna get to the Super Bowl at this point. Not as long as Harbaugh's here. I don't see us getting to the Super Bowl, so I don't even have a statement to say. I don't have a statement to say. And yeah, Thursday night in Miami is gonna be Lamar crash out. Oh, yeah, let us lose to the Dolphins again, and he'll crash out for sure. It'll be a real fun time for all of us. Anyway, guys, it is 12:23. I have been here for over 2 hours, and this has been your therapy session. We're going to cut the therapy session here because we can go on all night, but I don't like to hold you guys up long past 12 o'clock. I try to do as much as possible during the time I'm given, and once that is done, we move forward. So, we are putting week 3 behind us. The week 3 week has come to an end, and now we as the fans must fully lock in to Kansas City. We got the Chiefs next week. It's a very short week now. Today's Wednesday now, so the Ravens will practice today, tomorrow, Friday. They will be on their way Saturday to Kansas City, and they will play Kansas City on Sunday. So you got to make the switch. It's time to lock in on the Chiefs, and we'll talk about the Ravens this week against Kansas City, a team they haven't been able to beat. They've beaten one time in 8 years, so we'll see how that goes. But this has been the week 3 therapy session. Can't wait to see everybody crash out for the week 4 therapy session. It's going to be fun, I guess. But with that being said, guys, enjoy the rest of your night. Good night to all. Appreciate you tuning into today's stream. And I will see you guys later. Thank you all for pulling up. You all have a good night. Be sure to stay safe